Swashbucklers, you're listening to Under the Crossbones. My name is Phil Johnson. I'm your host for the show. Thank you for tuning in once again. Thank you for telling a friend. Thank you for reviewing the show. Thank you for spending time with me, spending time with people talking about pirates. That's what we're here for, right? Yes. This is episode number 62. Interesting fact about the number 62. Sigmund Freud had an irrational fear of the number 62. Don't know why. But he wouldn't stay in a hotel that had more than 61 rooms just in case they gave him room 62, which seems somehow very polite. Like he could have just asked for another room if they gave him 62, but instead he just avoided those hotels altogether. Why he was afraid of the number 62, I have no idea, but it kind of makes me not want to listen to anything else that Sigmund Freud has to say. But anyway, that's number 62. My guest today on the show is Xander Kent of Blackbeard Banners. They're a San Francisco-based company. I saw their stuff at the NorCal Pirate Festival over the summer. He makes really cool Jolly Rogers, essentially, like custom Jolly Rogers. Like you could design your own Jolly Roger, and he's got a bunch in stock and things like that. And I'll put some images in the show notes at underthecrossbones.com/062 so that you can check it out. But if you want to just dig in. Go to blackbeardbanners.storeenvy.com. That's his website there. So I'm a little on the tired side. I'm just back from my Northwest tour. Did a couple dates in Washington and a show in Oregon, and it was very rainy the entire time. I did just a lot of driving, a lot of very concentrated driving with just rain splashing and my windshield the whole time. So I did a lot of driving. The shows were good. Shows were fun. Met some nice people. Told some jokes, sung some songs, sold some merchandise. It was a good tour. I saw a semi-truck like flopped over on its side. There'd been an accident of some sort. Like it was all wet and rainy, and it jackknife and whatever. There was a truck semi laid over on its side, which is like seeing a dinosaur in the middle of the highway, right? Because it's huge. And I just never seen like the top of a semi as I was driving by before. It was very strange. But I drove on the way back. My last day of driving was 9-10 hours of driving. And I think I saw, 5 accidents over 550 miles or so of driving. So yeah, it was pretty ugly out there, but I made it home. Made it home all safe. And the shows were good. And a bunch more shows coming up, of course, because I'm always on the road. But I ran out of podcasts while I was driving. Because I listened to, 20 or 30 podcasts, and I ran out of episodes, so I flipped on over to Spotify, and I was just rocking out a couple of good albums. There's a lot of music I would love to play for you on the show that I can't, because there's licensing issues and all sorts of weird stuff. They don't make it easy for podcasters to play music, but a couple albums that you might want to check out if you're a metal person. Check out the new Death Angel record. It's called The Evil Divide. And I'm pretty picky about my metal records these days. That's my home base. That's where I grew up. But so a lot of it just starts to sound the same after a while. Not exactly sure why, but this new Death Angel record is killer. I've been listening to it over and over. It's called The Evil Divide, so check that one out. And something completely different, I found a band called Here Come the Mummies, and their new album called Underground. And I don't know whatever you might be thinking they sound like based on a name, Here Come the Mummies, but they're like an R&B group. Like a soul group. Super cool. Really good stuff. So check those out. And like I said, I do have more tour dates coming up. Tuesday, October the 18th, which is today. If you're listening to this the day it comes out, I'll be popping in for a set at the Layover in Oakland, California. Friday, October 21st, I will be at the Lil Ask Art House in Boulder Creek, California. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. There's some vowels in there that don't look like they belong there. But Boulder Creek, California, be there on Friday the 21st. Wednesday, October the 26th, I will be at Tavolino della Notte in Coral Springs, Florida. And Thursday through Saturday, October 27 to 29, I'll be headlining at the Laugh In Comedy Club in Fort Myers, Florida. So hope to see some of you Florida pirates out there for those shows. Going to be way fun, way cool. I've also got Wisconsin coming up, Illinois, some dates in San Diego, Bakersfield, California, all sorts of good stuff. You can always go to underthecrossbones.com, click on the tour dates button, and you will find out where I'm coming to talk and tell jokes and sing songs at you. If you're enjoying the show, and I hope you are, join us on Facebook at Under the Crossbones, Facebook/Under the Crossbones, Twitter/Under Crossbones would know that. And of course, you can always get all the show notes for this episode on underthecrossbones.com/062. And make sure that you're subscribed over on Amazon as well. If you want to help support the show, that is always cool. I appreciate everybody who's been sending donations. You can do that if you go to the underthecrossbones.com/support, little PayPal box. Drop whatever you want in there, whatever kind of donation. Maybe the price of a bottle of rum or something, just as a guideline. There's an Amazon banner there. You can click that Amazon banner and buy yourself something nice. I get a little kickback from Amazon. Doesn't cost you anything extra. And if you want to be a sponsor of the show, it's very simple. It's very cheap. The information is on the support page. Go to underthecrossbones.com/support. All right, we are going to dig into this interview with Xander Kent of Blackbeard Banners. This was really fun. I got to do this interview in person. It was not over Skype or any of the other ways that I generally do interviews, because Xander is in San Francisco, so I was going up there to do a gig anyway, stopped by his studio, and we had a good old chat about pirates and Jolly Rogers and graphic design. Man, this is a fun one. You ready? Here we go. Here's Xander Kent from Blackbeard Banners. I discovered your work at the NorCal Pirate Festival just not too long ago, and I was like, I have to talk to this guy because these are awesome. So,
thank you.
Tell the audience a little bit about what it is you do.
Well, my name is Xander Kent. I'm an artist out of San Francisco, California, and I make pirate flags by hand. They're on, I screen print them actually onto high quality black canvas. So basically, they're like giant, like punk patches. You know, the ones you get at the punk shows that they kind of fray away at the edges over time.
Yeah.
It's one of those. So I screen print onto those just like the punk patches, and my lovely fiance actually sews the edges shut so they don't fray away. So yeah, you could get that like cool raggedy pirate feel, but I mean, eventually your flag's going to wear away. I mean, who needs that? So yeah, they get hemmed, and then I actually have an industrial grommet press that my Kickstarter helped me pay for, and that punches the grommets onto the edge there. So because I've seen at like Joanne's Crafts and Michael's, they have like the crappy, do it at home grommet punch where you have to get like a hammer, and they never work. You have to like strike true. You have to have the abilities of Thor, the thunder god, to strike and make sure that thing stays put. So I decided to actually buy an industrial grommet press. It's huge. It's cast iron. It's in a box back there buried. We moved somewhat recently, so everything's still kind of cattywampus. But I've carved a kind of a creative space out of the foyer of my little apartment that we're sitting in here. But yeah, my flags are 100% handmade. The flags and the cotton's made right here in America. I screen print it using Jacquard high quality solar white printing ink. I used to work in an art supply store, so I spent a lot of time behind a cash register. So I have a lot of free time to think about what's the best way to go about making these flags.
Sure.
So a lot of trial and error went into these. And
as with any good project.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So, and I've been able to, through the graces of a lot of good friends and a lot of luck, I've made it into the Pirate Fest circuit. So
that's great. And I think the cool thing about it is they're all different. It's not, you're not just, cranking out Skull and Crossbones.
That's right.
Like the one you're showing me right here, that is Thor's hammer, is it
That's
not?
right. Yeah, okay. I have Mjolnir Roger. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so it's Thor's hammer over Crossbones.
That's right.
Which is fantastic.
Thank you.
And I know the one that caught my eye was the microphone over the Crossbones. And I was
right.
Ooh.
I should have brought that one out. Right now they're in a pile over there. They're actually still recovering from Pirate Fest. It's still got the dust and debris and detritus on them still.
I also saw that Darth Vader one, which I thought was very cool. I was like, there's things here I need. Yeah.
The idea is that I wanted people to fly a flag that they could really relate to and believe in. Because as I mentioned, when I was working behind the cash register, I had a lot of free time to think. I'm just you're kind of alone inside your own head for a while there.
Sure.
And I'm obsessed with symbols and symbolism and symbology and the meaning of sigils and whatnot. And I love iconography and whatnot. And I know that a lot of people do. A lot of people, we're a very tribal nation or people. We wear our labels, we wear our logos, where it's Coke, Star Wars,
right?
Stussy, whatever label you want.
Sure.
Some people wear it with pride. Sports teams, nerdery, like that kind of stuff. People love that stuff. So, and I realized that the pirates of old were no different. Every one of them flew a flag that meant something to them.
Sure, yeah.
Like what thought process did Blackbeard have when he was thinking about his flag, or Bartholomew Roberts, or Jack Rackham? And some of them even stole from other people. For a while there, Black Bart did fly Blackbeard's flag.
Oh, interesting.
And then he actually switched flags. You'll look in even the most basic Wikipedia page, you'll see that Black Bart, Bartholomew Roberts, had two flags for a while there. So he changed his mind. He decided which flag he wanted to fly. So,
and I wonder if that was like he didn't have his rep yet, and he's like, I'm gonna fly Blackbeard's flag, and make people think it's him, and then I'll show up, and they'll be like, oh, that wasn't the dude we were expecting at all.
Yeah. So I got thinking of like, what can I give people? What can I make for people to have them fly their own flag? I thought, make my own flags.
Interesting.
How hard could it be?
Yeah, and I've always been interested in that too. But I've always found it interesting what people will put on their cars.
Yes,
it's the same thing where you just go, why would that guy put that on that car? Why that must be important to him in some way.
Obviously, he wants to have a bootleg of Calvin peeing on a Ford logo. Obviously,
right?
That must be who he is on the inside.
And they're all bootlegs, and that drives me crazy. Yeah,
poor Bill Watterson.
He's never been paid for those.
No,
not a cent.
I don't think he cares.
Yeah,
I bet he cares, just doesn't mind. I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Man, that guy's a god. Anyway.
Yeah. So what was the? I mean, that was the sort of the meaning behind doing these flags. How did you? What were you doing before that? I mean, you're obviously an artist. You have a lot of things happening in here.
I've been drawing since I could lift a crayon.
Okay.
And I just haven't stopped. When I was a kid, I drew dinosaurs eating people. You know, the macabre things that boys always draw.
Yeah.
And I had a stint in loving anime for a while there in high school, and I kind of adopted that style. Basically, my entire artistic career has been me kind of absorbing other artists' styles into my hand and just kind of spitting them back out on the page and seeing what sticks.
Right.
Literally. Then later in college, I picked up Hellboy, Mike Mignola, like the heavy shadows stuff, and really followed a lot of artists that are really heavy into inking and lots of heavy blacks.
Okay.
And that led me to like the heavy metal type of artworks. And I'm not talking about the magazine. I'm talking about like the tour shirts where you have like, it's all one color. Like you see for the black metal stuff out of Norway, like the Gorgoroth shirts where it's like corpses eating each other.
Yeah. Always a logo you can't read.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It looks like a fallen tree, and that's the point.
I always thought those were like the worst branding ever, because it's just like, okay, what's that
this?
band? I don't know.
There's some kid in war paint. He's like, oh, that is Meshuggah.
You're right.
Sure, kid. Anyway, it just got me thinking about all the things that you could. It got me into the screen printing world. Like I said, I was working at the art store, so I had access to a lot of new tools I could experiment with, and the employee discount really helped with that.
Sure, yeah.
You know, all this at a 30% off. Hell yeah, I'll try new stuff. I'll get into screen printing, sure. And actually. At the store, we held a lot of workshops for the customers, and this is how I met again a friend of mine now. His name's Rick Kitagawa. He recently sold his company called Lords of Print. They're stationed out here in the Dog Patch.
Okay.
And he's been a screen printer and a painter for years. And we'd actually met doing the convention circuit because before I started working on this project on Blackbeard banners, I had a webcomic with my another comedian named Jackson McBrayer. I got him to write. Well, really, he said that he gave himself the job because he was a really good friend of mine, and I wanted to base a character off of him like you do in college.
Sure.
And he said, you know what? I'll just write the whole thing. So he's a comedian. He's a very funny guy, and so anyway, he and I did the convention circuit here, and our big con was the Alternative Press Expo, or APE, here in the city. It used to be held at the Concourse down on Bryant Street.
Right.
Of course, I got knocked down. The convention got sold back to its original owners. So I met Rick there, and I got thinking about his method, screen printing. So I met him again at the art supply store I used to work at, and we got to talking. He gave me some ideas, and the idea of the flags was just rattling around inside my head. I was really getting into pirate stuff. A lot of my friends just started sending me a bunch of pirate stuff on Facebook, and I just got inundated with pirate culture and whatnot. That was around the time just before the Ubisoft put out Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
Okay.
So
what was getting you into the pirate thing?
Mostly playing Assassin's Creed 4.
Oh, okay.
Just 3 months solid of like working at the art supply store, drawing pirate stuff, coming home, playing that video game.
Okay.
And that's when I got turned on to a band called the Dread Crew of Oddwood.
Sure. Yeah. Great.
Great nerd acoustic pirate rock. Yep. So for a while there was all these like pins lined up for just inundating my life with pirate stuff.
Okay.
So I had this band, had the video game. And that's when Black Sails, the TV show, came out too. And I got really into that show too because it's really, really good TV.
It is a really good TV.
So it's like, I want to make pirate stuff too. How can I do that? My art brain just started turning, and the cogs and the hamster started running inside my head. So the entire time I was just wasting time behind the cash register, I was just thinking, what can I do? What can I do? How can I do this? How can I make this work? It's like a fever almost. My art in my head isn't just something I do. It's like a compulsion. It's just something I do. It's like breathing.
I know it well.
Yeah. And so I decided to run a Kickstarter because I needed money. And working by the cash register, you don't get a lot of money. So I needed capital to make the supplies I needed. And my parents always taught me if I want to achieve something, I have to think about, the steps I need to take to get there. If I want C, I have to think about A and B.
Right.
So how do I get there? So I had to think, well, I need the supplies. I need to figure out what's the most cost-effective thing I can do. If I'm going to create a product, how can I get this to the customers at a fair price? Who's going to buy this? What's my target audience?
Right.
How can I get into these crowds? Like, I really want to tap in to the people who like the same things I was getting into, like the video, Black Flag, Black Sails, Oddwood, that kind of thing. So I thought Kickstarter was a very successful venue for me, so I went for it. So it took me almost a year, honestly, to conceive and execute the Kickstarter alone.
That's about average from what I've heard.
It is. I've seen people like, I'm making a Kickstarter. When do you want to do it? Next week.
Right. Yeah. No, that's not going to work.
Godspeed.
Yeah.
I wish you the best. I see that a lot, and I will freely give any advice to people who are thinking about running a crowdsourcing campaign. It's a whole nother job. It really is. It's insane. It's worth it if you don't succeed, learn from your mistakes like anything else. If it does succeed, now you have a whole nother full-time job ahead of you.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Now, when you were going into the Kickstarter thing, how much of an audience for your work did you already have, or were you kind of starting from zero?
There's always kind of I'm sure there's a chart you could draw about it, but I was there were some fans I had from the webcomic I had made with Jackson that came from the webcomic to that. So I had something there. I had my friends at the art supply store. We're all creative, goofy people. So I had those people. And, of course, my close friends and family who always want to see me succeed, who would always come by my booth at the convention and buy a print or two. They know they can get it from me for free if they ask, but they don't because they respect me and my art, and that's really, really nice and flattering. So I had this nice little network of people who were willing to support me, and a lot of the rest of it was good old-fashioned crowdsourcing. So just getting out there and really, really pushing the project.
Yeah. So what kind of venues were you putting that promotion into? Was it graphic design forums, or was it pirate forums or places like that? Facebook pages, whatever.
Facebook was a huge tool. My friend and now
Facebook is a huge tool.
Oh God, yes. No argument here. They're a huge tool, and they're a huge tool. They're a necessary. What's the word? Necessary cudgel, I guess.
I guess so. Okay.
But I have a friend who works in marketing, and she offered to be kind of the marketing kind of face, or she wanted to be kind of the spearhead of the marketing on Facebook alone. So, I gave her some cash, some advanced cash from the Kickstarter, and she plugged that into Facebook's ads.
Right.
And actually, you know what? I got some people from that.
They're effective.
As much as Facebook pushes, give us money and you'll be famous. And most of the time you think it's bullshit.
Right.
But this time I got a few of my stronger supporters came from Facebook. Thankfully.
Really?
Yeah. And the rest of it was my own, just going out into the Facebook forums and just, look up #pirate and see who pops up.
Sure.
I found the Facebook groups, the worldwide pirate group or clan, I forget the full name.
Yeah.
And the Pirate Nation. Those are the two biggest ones. And I just kept blasting on there. I was annoying every 2 times a day. I was like, I got a Kickstarter. By the way, the Kickstarter was called Operation Crossbones.
Okay.
Or #OpCrossbones for short.
Okay.
So that was a nice little hashtag I could put out there on all the tweets, all the Insta tweets, all the Facebook blasts, like all that.
Yeah. The funny thing about doing that is that you do feel like you're annoying people when you're doing that, and you're like, oh my God, these people are going to be sick of me. And then it doesn't matter how many times you put it out. As soon as it's over, somebody will go, oh, dude, why didn't you tell me about that?
Every time.
Yeah, why didn't you tell me you were in town doing a gig? It's like, well, I did 1,000 times.
Yes, yes. And it got to a point, especially at the end, when you're not sure you're going to make it.
Right.
You start kind of sweating bullets. I did a search on Facebook for everybody who had a profile picture of them in a pirate costume.
Okay.
Everybody, I don't care who they were, what age they were, where they were. It's like, hi, you don't know me. This is really weird. I know, but I've got this Kickstarter. I'm trying to make my dreams happen. Here's my mission statement. I'm sorry if this is intrusive, but I'd really like your support. And if not, if you can just take a second out of your day to share and like my page or share my post, all the social media stuff.
Sure.
Share, like, and comment, all that stuff.
Right.
It got to a point where I felt like I was really begging and scraping. And there were a number of people who really committed and believed in my project. Some people, complete strangers.
Really?
And it was a fantastic feeling to have a whole slew of new fans.
Yeah.
People who really understood what I was trying to do and really bought into it and really connected with it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people they started telling me their own stories of how they got into pirate multimedia stuff, and I realized that pirates as a subculture, as an interest, have been are just as American as cowboys.
Certainly.
Because we forget that pirates made their way up to West Virginia. I mean, Blackbeard himself blockaded North Carolina, Charleston for a while there. And he actually died on American soil. It was a colony at the time, but you can go to the benchmark that says Blackbeard died around here.
Yeah.
It's here in the States. And pirates have been, an interest since forever, since they were alive. So people, all ages, sexes, creeds, they love, good old whole, yo ho ho and a bottle of rum. Everyone loves that. So
and like you said, even at the time, they were watching it like we would watch CNN, and they were like sort of these pop culture heroes, like we would do with mob guys or something like that.
Everyone loves a rebel.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
That's what these guys were, and that's kind of the feeling I wanted to instill in these flags. I want people to feel like that they could fly, hoist the black, raise the colors. And everyone, if they, want one from me, they can do that. I mean, anybody can go to a Renaissance fair and pick up, Jack Rackham's flag.
Sure.
Or a Blackbeard's flag, but if you want one that's just you, one that you really feel like kind of calls to you, if you feel the salt going through the salt sea going through your blood, there's that. And I do take custom orders, so there are people who said, I will pay you however much you need to make me a custom flag, and I do it.
Nice.
So
I mean, where else are you going to find a Jolly Roger with a cup of tea on it?
That's right. That's right.
It's like if you were super, like, that is the most peaceful Jolly Roger I think I've ever seen.
That one is probably my most popular design, honestly.
With the cup of tea.
With the cup of tea, yeah. People go nuts for it, and this is a real big testament to kind of market research and kind of crowdsourcing, is figuring out what people want.
Sure, yeah.
Because I've made Jolly Rogers that I thought would be sellers. I made a Doctor Who one, and it didn't sell at all.
Surprising.
Me too. I thought that was going to be a dead ringer, and people loved the Bear Roger, and people loved the Tea Roger. And it's kind of confounding at times. It's one of those, okay, I got to ride this wave, see where it takes me. That one kind of ran out. I'm now going this one. At Pirate Fest my first year, I sold out of the both Batman and Darth Vader Rogers.
I'll bet, yeah.
And ones I hoped would sell don't. And I took a gamble on some of the designs. Like I made a Serenity Firefly Roger.
Okay.
And I can tell who are the mega nerds when they can spot it. Because it's not just like the ship over the bones. It's the sigil that's on the ship. It's the Chinese characters for Serenity.
Right.
And when I see nerds walk by and they see it, they go, oh! I'm like, oh yeah, Battle Serenity Valley. Never forget.
Come on in, brown coats.
That's right. It's funny. I saw a Chinese person walk by and they see it and they look at it and they kind of piece it apart. They go, calm? And then their boyfriend or whoever goes, Serenity. They'll figure it out. So
I don't know what those characters mean.
It means Serenity.
It means Serenity.
It's the Chinese character for like calm or stillness or like inner peace, Serenity.
I see.
Those symbols have various meetings depending on the context.
See, I should have had my girlfriend watch the show with me. She would have known. Except, she can't read Chinese. She only speaks it. And I go, what's that mean, honey? She's like, that I don't know. You might know. I have no idea.
I had a Chinese coworker whose white friend got a bunch of Chinese characters down the side of his ribs tattooed. And he's like, oh yeah, it means strength and tranquility. And she goes, nope, it means table. He goes, what? Doesn't it mean something else? Like, being solid, like desk? I guess?
Right. Yeah, solid, like a hardwood desk.
Nope. So be careful. What you get tattooed.
That's hilarious. That's so great.
Yeah.
So I saw on your website that you are descended from a pirate.
Yes.
Tell me that story.
According to family legend, it's not much of a story. It's just something I was always told since I was a kid.
Okay.
And we don't have any documentation. The second part to that legend is that he got captured and he got hanged.
Oh, okay.
The English captured and hanged him. That's just what happened. We assume it was the English. Could have been the Spanish.
Yeah. Do you know a name or
nope?
No.
We presume that he's got the same last name as us, Kent.
Okay.
Because we've carried that name for a long time. But apparently there was a swabby named Kent who dabbled in piracy and then got hanged for it.
Okay.
The only credence that we have that it is accurate is apparently a side of the family that I never got to meet. Whenever that subject got brought up, they would all shh about it.
Really?
It was all very hush hush.
Oh, interesting.
So the minute that anyone was like, "Oh, and that pirate that we had," and I was like, "Shh, we don't talk about that."
Really?
Thing apparently.
Oh, that's interesting because my family loves talking about the mobsters we had in our family.
I don't know.
I'm Italian, and they go to town with those stories.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't know. Apparently, the generation or two before me was very quiet. Apparently, they wanted to have an air of respectability. I guess I don't know. I don't know. I never met him.
It's overrated.
Oh, that's what I say. I never met him. But now I'm using it for my advantage.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Benderson Little, if you're listening, work your historian magic and find out this pirate Kent.
That's right. My dad did do some digging on Ancestry.com. No mention of the pirate, but we do know we had a Scottish lord.
Okay.
And named Ewan Nocturne.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
Apparently, this is in the papers. He was challenged to a duel on the field of honor, and they drew swords. It was him and an English nobleman, and they fought and fought and fought and fought and fought. They both lost swords. They resorted to fisticuffs. And they rolled down a hill, punching and kicking each other. And the Englishman then draws a dagger, breaking honor. And my ancestor bit his throat out.
Wow.
And stabbed him to death with a knife.
That's brutal.
Yes.
That's, wow. All right.
Yes.
Pirates and vampires.
Pretty much.
Your family.
And now businessmen.
That's insane. Like, I have a Scottish relative, too, but he was a writer. It's just not as exciting.
Scots have lots of great writers.
It was Sir Walter Scott, actually.
Oh, nice.
My family name should have been Scott.
Okay.
And there was a stepdad somewhere along the line that changed the family name to Johnson.
Okay.
And so we're not actually that Swedish at all, and we found out we are more Scottish. And I was in Scotland in 2005 to play the Fringe Festival in Edinburgh.
Nice.
And my girlfriend and I, we walked up to the monument, the Sir Walter Scott monument, and we looked up, and she went, "Oh my God, it looks just like your dad." And I looked up, I went, "Oh my God, it looks just like my dad." And then my dad walked up a couple days later. He went, "Oh my God, it looks just like me." So yeah, some pretty heavy genes in the Scott family.
Sweet.
Yeah, we did find out we have a castle there and everything, but I didn't get to visit. So it's a disappointment.
Yeah, I went there in 2014 and went to the old ancestral lands up by Glen Nevis in the shadow of Ben Nevis Mountain.
Oh, nice.
So we went to the distillery, ate haggis, all the stuff you do there.
I couldn't do haggis.
I liked it. Yeah. It's like a sausage. It's just an open up sausage.
Yeah, and they had vegetarian haggis, which I was like, what's the point?
No.
Yeah.
No. Just that's wrong. Wrong.
It's wrong. Like, I want all the ickiness and gooiness of haggis, but without the meat. It just doesn't make any sense.
No. I refuse. I'm just gonna block that out of my memory. Refuse that I ever knew that ever. No.
So so is your primary mode for selling the flags? Is it through the festivals and things like that, or where else do you sell?
For the most part, yeah. I do have a website where I do sell them through, where you can kind of make adjustments if you like. If you want a different color grommet, I do have brass and silver available.
Okay.
Or if you want the orientation changed, if you want it turned from instead of landscape to portrait, so you want sideways hanging down like your Lord's banner, if you wanted. That's really all you can really alter if you wanted. But the plan is to go to more I don't know how to put this, less piratical fairs, more like art shows or nautical themed, port shows. That kind of stuff, like the yacht club's got a convention or got a fair happening, like an art fair, like that kind of thing.
Sure, yeah.
And one of my targets, a lot of my target audience is like nerd kids, people who grew up watching Johnny Depp's Pirates of the Caribbean, or that kind of stuff. Nerds. I like targeting nerds because they.
The audience can't see, but my hands in the air.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. No, big money, big community. You know, Comic-Con brings in how many millions of dollars?
Exactly.
You know, they bring in more money than the Chargers, Padres, and the Zoos combined. I'm from San Diego, and I've seen it happen. It used to be you could just walk in. You know, I would drive down to San Diego and walk into Comic-Con, grab a badge, and go in and enjoy myself.
Sure. Yeah.
Now you have to slaughter a goat over a copper bowl, and sometimes that won't even work.
Yeah.
And you have to wait 36 hours just to go see one panel. I haven't been in a couple of years. I miss it a lot, but I've been hearing stories about what it's like now.
Insanity. Total insanity.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So, my goal one day is to reach it to Comic-Con, but for now, I'm really grabbing the nerd audience, and the other audience I want to grab are middle-aged guys who go through a midlife crisis and buy themselves a boat and call themselves the captain. That's the other audience I want. So I want old retirees who buy a schooner.
Yeah,
I want those guys to buy
I have a feeling
stuff.
a few more hands in the audience just went up that are listening. Yeah,
I know they're out there, and I'm coming for them. Actually, this next month we're going to the California Rum Festival.
Okay,
it's held right here in San Francisco. It's going to be I think it's downtown, and we're going to be selling the flags there.
Nice.
At Pirate Fest and at a few Renaissance fairs that we've been to. I have the full library of flags. I have over 30 designs, all from various either fandoms or of my own creation.
Okay.
But at the Rum Festival, I'm going to be carrying only about 2 to 5 designs, things that really kind of pinpoint the event and the clientele.
Sure.
So I do have a Rum Roger, which is it's a rum bottle over bones. I'm going to make maybe 1 or 2 exclusive flags for that. I'm thinking either a tiki head or a coconut or something. Yeah, I'll think about it. But something that screams, rum drinker. And I really am going to try to experiment with targeting a very niche audience. Because nerds come from all walks of life.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And they're into all the different things. It's the beauty of us is that we're into so many different things. But if I go to a festival like that, or I've been asked if I wanted to go to like a Doctor Who convention, sell my flags there, or I can go to a steampunk convention, make like a Cog Roger, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of events I want to really specifically make flags for, and really test the waters and see who wants my stuff there.
Yeah.
When I have a much more limited stuff, and I'll sell other art supply, I'll sell other art stuff like art prints, or I'll make other crafts because I do lots of ink and paper illustrations.
Oh, okay.
I can draw you just about anything.
Yeah.
And I'm always experimenting with new craft stuff because I liked doing the webcomic a lot, but I found myself kind of being in a crowd that was kind of inundated with people that were much the same.
Sure.
Everyone's selling prints, everyone's selling T-shirts, everyone's selling kind of the same stickers, buttons. It's all kind of the same stuff, and that's fine. But I've never liked being just a fish in a big pool. I always like to be a big fish in a little pool.
Sure, yeah.
That's how I've always done things.
Yeah.
It's just part of my nature, and that's why I went with the pirate stuff. As far as I can tell, no one else is making handmade pirate flags.
Yeah, no, I've never seen it before. Yeah,
and I had a number of inspirations, and all of my my kind of the people who inspire me all say, find something that no one else is doing and just go after it like a bulldog.
Right.
That was Ben Templesmith, he's a comic book artist, and he's worked with IDW, he's worked with Dark Horse, he's worked with a bunch of companies, and I've really idolized his art style. And I got to listen to him at one of the last Comic Cons I went to. Actually, it was WonderCon, the last WonderCon that was here in town. I got to hear him speak in this tiny convention hall, and years later he ran a Kickstarter for a comic book called The Squitter, and his thing is that he really wanted to make something that he had complete control over, and in the end create a product that was really special. It's this huge hardcover comic book that comes in like a slipcover case that he paints, and the whole story is of his own creation. It's a story that he's had kicking around inside his head for a while that no comic book company would bite. So he's like, fine, I'll make it myself.
Yeah.
And he did. He moved out of San Diego, went up to I think he went up to Canada with a bunch of his friends. So he cut a bunch of his costs, ran a crowdfunding campaign, and he made a product. I actually bought into it. I have it. And he created a product that he wanted people to really cherish and really could tell that a lot of craftsmanship and care went into. And that kind of inspired the flags. I actually modeled a lot of the Kickstarter itself's design after his.
Okay.
Not quite copy paste, but I could see what he did as far as like stylistic choices for the Kickstarter itself, how to make it attractive visually for people. And I follow other people who like Steam Crow. They made a webcomic, again webcomics, kind of cute steampunky kind of Flash Illustrator art, and then he moved on to making. Daniel Davis and his wife, I believe Donna, make. They make crafts now. They make puppets and they make all sorts of cool stuff. They make like hats, tangible things that people can really hold on to and identify. Because art prints are great. You can hang them on the wall, but eventually you get tired of looking at them. You switch them out, and that's cool. But you give somebody a hat or a book or a pirate flag, something that they can really kind of hold on to and think, I gave money to that guy. I have a personal investment in his journey or her journey, and I am proud to read this book or wear this hat or fly these colors.
Yeah. So, and something like that, they're going to wear it till it wears out.
Exactly.
Or, whatever it is. Yeah. And like I have prints and animation cells and things, and I don't have enough wall space to put them all
Same
up,
here.
But I do have 4 drawers full of t-shirts.
There you go.
That I can wear regularly. Yeah.
Precisely.
So that's great. So how long, like if somebody commissions something, how long is the process from first sketch to final product?
Generally about 3 weeks, honestly. Okay. So first make initial contact with me, tell me what you want. And I'm pretty easy. I like all designs. I don't like saying no to people. Unless it's something, ardently offensive, I'm not going to say no.
You're right.
Actually, right now I'm working on a piece, a lady who actually met at Pirate Fest too. She wants to surprise her husband by making a Jolly Roger. By the time this airs, he will have gotten it. He's a teacher, and she wanted to have me make them a flag that's an apple over crossed pencils. And I'm working on that right now. I'm actually I'm going to ink it tonight. And so I draw the design by hand on heavyweight Bristol paper, which absorbs the ink really well, so it comes out looking really nice and crisp. I scan that in my computer, I digitize it, I turn it into a vector format, and then I send it off to Rick Kitagawa and his company, Lords of Print, and they burn me a silk screen from it. I actually have we're sitting next to the stack of them. I have about 30 or so custom screen prints, and this is what the Kickstarter money went to, really. It was this, my first roll of canvas, the industrial grommet press, and these custom burned silk screens. That's where all the money was to make these custom art supplies. So, and then I get the silk screen burned, I go get it, which is all the way to Dog Patch, which is it's an adventure all in itself. So I take a lift or a bus. Either way, I go up over the mountain, I go down into right next to the slums out there, and kind of risk my life to go get them. I got people looking at me. What's this pirate doing down here? Does he have any money? No, I don't. Pirate flags pay, but they don't pay that well. So that's getting the silk screen is an adventure all to itself. You knock on a steel door and some guy comes out. It's like, hey, here you go. You didn't see me.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Almost a back alley transaction, but the guys do really good work.
Plenty of shady areas in this town.
Oh God, yes.
My personal favorite is the border right of Union Square and the Tenderloin.
Oh my God!
Because you see all the tourists who went one block too far and are totally freaked out.
Yes,
that's actually where I'm going tonight to
do
a gig. Yeah,
I actually can spot a lot of the kids at the Art Academy who stay at the dorms down there. Right. It's like, all right, kid, you want to come to the big city? Here you go.
Here you go.
Yeah. Actually, Jackson used to live down there, so we used to meet every week for a meeting for the webcomic, and I would pass by the most interesting people. So, and I don't think I've ever got offered more drugs in my life. Right. Ever. Pop rocks, Roxy's methadone.
Yeah, interesting neighborhood.
Yeah, pretty much. So anyway, so the flags do take a little bit of time to make, dry. I have to cut. I cut the canvas. Actually, I rip it. Actually, the canvas itself comes at a 96 inch roll. Which I did the math, and I can cut it into thirds. And thankfully, with canvas, I learned this at the art supply store. If you make one little cut, you can then rip it, and it will tear along the grain of the canvas.
It'll rip straight.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
So instead of investing in one of those rollers, those rolling blades, or something that will make sure that it cuts right, the canvas will do the work for me.
Wow.
So I can rip it, and it comes out exactly in a straight line.
That's
and
great.
That works the other direction too. So I rip it once, one long length, and then I rip that into thirds. So hand ripped right here in San Francisco. And then wash it, iron it. Then I print on side one. Wait about 72 hours to get it fully dry. Print on side two.
Okay.
Then after that dries, after the next 72 hours, my gorgeous fiance then hems the edges, and once those are all done, I then slam it with a grommet, and then it's ready to go.
Nice. Yep. So you said your best-selling ones are the T one.
Yep.
And I forgot what the other one was now.
The T and the Bear.
Oh, the Bear.
The Bear is a huge seller, and those are just. I'm actually really glad that those are the two original designs, because of course the nerd-centric ones are going to sell pretty well to specific audiences.
Sure,
Like I said, the Darth Vader one and the Batman one, I really couldn't keep stocked. They're just flying off the shelf, which is a good problem to have. But,
now, I'm curious about those because those are licensable characters.
yes, they are.
How do you deal with that, or do you just hope for the best?
Like this is actually a concern that every artist like me has, is that we're always kind of proverbially sleeping with one eye open, or kind of has one eye over the shoulder.
Yeah,
because every artist that uses licensed characters always has that little fear of reprisal.
Sure.
I mean, you can always hope that they're not looking too closely, but on my website I do say, copyright me for everything except for those obviously licensed by their intended owners. I forgot what's the legalese I use, but I looked at the proper one. And it's one of those where if they wanted to come after me, they probably could.
Yeah,
but you always read stories about Disney sues for so much.
Yeah,
and it's just part of the. It's part of the business, honestly. You try to get away with it as much as you can until they don't they start paying attention. Honestly, in my experience, unless you're starting to make thousands and thousands of dollars, they really don't come after you.
Yeah, no. And I always look at it from both ways, because I understand the artist point of view, where this is just something that people want.
Yeah.
And then as an intellectual property owner, I also understand that end of it as well, because if you don't defend your intellectual property, they can actually take your copyrights and patents away, because by saying you didn't defend it, so you obviously don't care. So I understand completely both sides of that argument, because I always have to shut down other bands using my band's name that I have a trademark on, or things like that, which has happened so many times over the years. I don't know why nobody can Google a band name first before they start calling their band that, but
yes, I've seen it many times.
But so I really understand both sides of that argument, but like you said, until you really start cranking up some dough, they're not going to really pay attention.
See, at conventions, you will always see, Pikachu fighting Deadpool on a print, or Batman versus Darth Vader on a T-shirt. You're just going to see it all over the place, and a lot of it is because customers are really picky and they don't really want to buy original artwork. Well, they do, but they don't.
Yeah.
They like the idea of it, but it's a really common strategy to kind of bring them in with intellectual property they already know.
Sure, yeah.
And then hopefully you'll, this is a kind of a trade secret, you'll kind of build a relationship with that customer. Maybe next year, or hopefully later that day, they'll come back and buy some of your stuff.
Exactly. And it's the cover song version of this. Yeah.
Yes. That's actually a great way to put it. Yeah. We're, it's like doing a tribute band type of thing, and hopefully they'll buy your personal record. So it is a calculated risk, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that every convention artists ask themselves, do I want to, sell my own artwork and only my own artwork and kind of keep my artistic integrity?
Right.
Or do I want to get paid?
You're right.
Because these tables cost hundreds of dollars. Depending on the convention, it could be $100. By the end, last year, the Alternative Press Expo was $375.
Wow.
And I think there was a couple of fees rolled in there too. So it was close to $400.
Sure.
And if there aren't customers who want to pay for, a Viking fighting a dinosaur, which is the kind of stuff I like to draw, they want to fight. They want to see, stuff they know. They want to see, Lord of the Rings. They want to see Green Lantern. That's the kind of stuff they want.
Yeah.
And we'll just shell out cash for because, Marvel, DC, and whoever have done the work for us.
Right.
They know it. They love it. They really identify with these characters. People get tattoos of, I have a friend who has a Green Lantern tattoo on his ring finger.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's not a bad one. I've seen much worse tattoos than that.
Yeah. Actually, there's a crazy guy in the Tenderloin who has the Decepticon logo tattooed on his forehead.
Oh, wow.
He gave me hair care advice once.
Nice. That's why he lives in the Tenderloin.
Yes.
Yeah.
He then asked me if I had any crack.
Of course.
Yes.
I have a friend who got a tattoo of the San Francisco Demons on his, that was the arena football team.
Wow.
That lasted like 2 years. I was like, dude, that was a dumb idea.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. Wow.
So what's one of your favorites that hasn't been a big seller that you thought was going to be over the top and just doesn't. Because I have jokes like that where I go, you know what, I'm going to keep telling this joke, even though it doesn't work, but I like it.
I didn't think it was going to be a big seller. I knew it wasn't going to be a big seller, but I wanted it anyway. It's the logo for my webcomic.
Okay.
It is called Sixth Circle. It's down right now. We're kind of on hiatus, mostly because I'm working on the flags. Life happens. Sometimes projects sometimes just fall by the wayside, and that's what happens. So we're working on revitalizing it. But the logo is a T-Rex skull over cross sabers.
Okay, nice.
With the Roman numeral 6 in the middle. I love it. The people who know it love it.
Right.
I might have sold one.
Okay.
In the time I've made it, I may have sold one, maybe two. But the people who know it love that Jolly Roger. And that one's my baby. That one's my personal favorite.
Sure. Yeah.
The T Roger, the response to that one has still blown me away.
Really?
People love it, especially the ladies. Ladies love tea, and as part of the design, I actually drew the handle of the teacup actually is a squid tentacle.
Oh, okay.
And I drew like a filigree on it of the squid kind of coming around it. So it's that one that I put just a little more effort into, and I think that's what people also respond to. It's kind of a double-edged kind of design. People see, it's like, oh, it's tea. Is that a squid teacup? Holy crap. And so people really like that.
All right, how deep is the backstory? What kind of tea is it?
Oh, Earl Grey.
Earl Grey.
Hot. So we're nerds here, man.
That's fantastic.
So
the website, which I have written down in my phone, but I'm not going to look at it now. So tell me what it is.
Of course, I know on top of my head. The website, you can get the flags at http:// blackbeardbanners.storeenvy.com.
There you go.
There's a million kind of store sites you can buy, but this one's free.
Yeah, right. Sure. Yeah.
Because part of the thing I learned from the webcomic is trying to have as little monthly fees as possible.
Oh, yeah.
Like I know that you have to spend money to make money,
right,
but there's also a point where you start hemorrhaging cash.
Yep. Yeah. No, I'm with you on that one. Yeah. So I'll opt for paying for something once.
Yes.
That's more, rather than have that monthly fee.
Exactly.
That every month, and I'm like, I didn't sell that much this month, Yeah. So no, I'm totally with you on that. That makes sense.
And they do take a small cut. I think it's like 1 or 2%.
Sure.
But that's worth it because they, keep the lights on, metaphorically speaking. So I'm glad to pay the 2% of a flag.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Definitely. Totally. And so where are you going to be in your in fests and things like that coming up?
Next one is going to be the California Rum Festival here in San Francisco, and I'm aiming to go back to Pirate Fest, of course, next year.
Okay.
And I don't have much else lined up right now because I'm actually working on getting married.
Oh, so congratulations!
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I like her. She likes me. I think it's going to work out.
That's good. That's good.
We played Diablo together. We have the same taste in beer. I think we're going to be okay.
See, those are the things that count.
Yeah,
I just read an article that said couples that have the same drinking habits do very well.
It's really true.
Yeah,
it's really true. We have very similar interests. She actually knows more about Scotch than I do.
Oh, well, there you go.
And I know a little more about rum than she does. So
right,
we're teaching each other the ways of both the Scotch and the rum.
There you go.
So it's pretty good.
See, we're the same way. Neither one of us drinks, so it's perfect.
Fair enough. And so the Rum Festival is going to be a lot of fun, and looking forward to that. And after I get married, I'm going to start just going all over the state.
Nice.
After that, and hopefully the rest in the world.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I actually just got back from a trip to Australia.
Ooh, nice.
And actually went to a wedding there. My fiance was one of the bridesmaids.
Okay.
And the groom's best man is a events coordinator down in Australia.
Ooh. And
there's a convention called RTX.
Okay.
It's run by Rooster Teeth, and they've been one of my biggest inspirations since I was a teenager, and now they're huge. The director, Bernie Burns, who was just kind of like a funny guy with a funny voice, and now he's the director of a whole company that has their own convention. They actually have one of their conventions in Australia, and she helps run it. And now that she and I have met, I made a connection. I'm actually thinking about taking my flags to Australia as early as next year.
Right.
So the tricky thing, though, is that one of the things about that convention is that they don't allow fan art.
Oh, okay.
So they have they don't have a whole lot of vendors because, like I said, a lot of artists at conventions have all fan art. And this is the exact reverse of this.
Oh, interesting.
Because, like I said, a lot of artists will create fan art just to get people in the proverbial door.
Right.
But now we're challenged with a convention that doesn't allow it.
And at the same time, they're going to draw in people that aren't expecting it in that case. If they know ahead of time. That's fantastic.
So I'll be having to bring all my Jolly Rogers that aren't fan art. So the Batman stays at home, Darth Vader stays at home, Iron Man, the Triforce, all that stays at home. So I'll be taking the T. Roger, the bear, the shark's teeth, all that. They'll be on the way to Australia, hopefully next year.
That's fantastic.
So thank you.
And if nothing else, that gets to be a paid-for vacation.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm always like, okay, my girlfriend's always like, we should go here. And I'm like, all right, let me see if I can book some gigs. You know?
Yeah. But I've made a lot of really, really lasting, cool relationships through the flag business now. Sure. A lot of them through Pirate Fest. I mentioned before the Dread Crew of Oddwood, the band. I actually contacted them early in the Kickstarter, says, hey, can I use your music for the Kickstarter videos? And I said, well, we made this music. We have to kind of get something for it, but we understand, starving artists speak. So how about we trade?
Right.
What can you give us? And I said, well, I noticed that your drawn portraits on your website are out of date. You've had a number of band members leave the band. And now, a little more than half your members have portraits. I'd be happy to update your portraits for you if you let me use your music. And they agreed. And I feel bad because my art skills are not as good. We're not as good as they are now. So I look at those like, oh my God, those suck. Yeah. Oh wow. It's been about 3 years now, and I think like I could make them so much better. Portraits now. A few of them have been updated, so like the lead singer looks awesome. But the bazookiist looks kind of like, I don't know. His arm was all askew. It was weird. But now I follow them wherever they go in the California circuit. And I go see them. Say, hey, kind of keep the professional relationship alive.
Sure, yeah.
And so yeah, my hope is to one day make flags for them. And a lot of it has to do with money. Bands, as you know, don't pay as much as you'd like. But my hope is that
the funny thing is the pirate bands make way more money than most of the regular bands.
Really?
Oh yeah, because they'll go out and do 12 gigs a month at all these festivals and things, and all the other original bands are like, we gig like once a month if we're lucky. That's why I'm a comedian. I can go gig 15 times a month.
Sure. Yeah, they do Ren fairs. They do the big ones that do like 8 weekend runs.
Right.
They play 4 times a day for 8 weekends.
Exactly. Yeah.
And those guys are nuts. But no, they're great professional contacts. They're becoming great friends.
Nice.
Whenever they come to town and grab a beer, it's a lot of fun. But like I said, my hope is to make flags for them and other folks, other companies.
Sure.
Like I'm looking to target, pirate themed like breweries, pirate themed like anything, cafes, anything. And if they need their logo on a pirate flag, I'd be happy to make them by hand, sell them a brace of handmade flags.
Sure. Yeah.
And they can sell them from there, and I can work out deals of like consignment, commission, that kind of thing.
Now, how much can you scale this? Like if somebody was like, we need 50 of those. I mean, how much can you scale that fast?
I can.
Yeah.
Given enough time and for the right price.
Yeah.
I can definitely do that.
Yeah.
It's like, asking a t-shirt company to crank out handmade shirts.
Sure. Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about sizing, thankfully.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't have to worry about making extra small to XX.
Right.
And then men and women's sizes. I don't have to worry about that. So if they want,
you might need a women's size of the T flag.
Yeah. But yeah, I can definitely churn that out. Yeah.
So is the time consuming part of it then just the initial design, and then once you've got your screen, you can just kind of crank at them?
A lot of it, yeah. And the drying time. It takes time for the stuff to dry, and time for us to hem the edges. It's a process.
Sure.
And it's multi-step. It's all here in house, thankfully. But a lot of it's got to do with the dry time.
Sure.
And honestly, space.
Yeah.
As you notice, we're in my tiny apartment,
right?
And I just don't have the space to lay out 50 flags,
right?
During Pirate Fest, I can show you pictures at some point. But there's a garage right through that door, and every single surface in that garage, including the car, is covered in drying flags. It looks like it's like an alien infestation. They just take over everything.
Yeah.
Even down here, there's even upstairs. My roommate's out of town upstairs, and I actually thought about like opening up his room and laying all the flags on the floor at his bed. Like, he's not going to notice. He's not going to be here for another couple months. I didn't do that because I didn't want to invade his privacy. But a lot of it's the space.
Yeah.
I did go to IKEA and found like a clothing drying rack.
Oh.
And I might buy like 10 more.
Yeah.
Because they hold 8 flags.
Right.
It's so you can like dry your towels on it, but they dry flags just as fine. So I've been thinking about buying like 10 more.
Yeah, there you go.
Have something. I've seen at professional screen printing shops, they have what looks like it looks like what you see at the bakers. It's like a standing like rack where they can slide the bread in, but I've seen screen printing people have their like the t-shirts on a rack, like a vertical tower rack.
Sure, yeah.
And they have them lined up and they can wheel them around the workshop.
Right, yeah.
I don't have that kind of space.
Sure,
so,
yeah. No, that's time consuming. That's why I make only intellectual property, because it takes up no room.
Yeah. Well, I have no intellect, so I fresh out of luck there.
All my jokes fit in my phone. It's amazing.
That's awesome. No, mine is very heavy. The flags, that's half the point, is that the flags are on heavyweight canvas, because I one of my rallying cries is like, are you sick of the thin, crappy nylon flags? Like, sure, they flap in the wind just fine, but they don't have that weighty, heavy pirate feel. And that's why I really wanted to go with black canvas,
right?
Because that's this is the modern version of what they would have flown. The pirates would have flown back in the day.
Yeah.
But carting that from fair to fair to conventions, it's heavy. Like, I'd say every flag weighs about, I don't know, 0.75 to 1 pound maybe.
Yeah.
And so if I'm carrying 150 of those, do the math.
Yeah, that's a lot of trekking up.
It is
stuff
so,
to the booth.
Yeah, so I'm getting buff and getting rich. Neither.
It's all a lie.
It's all a lie. I'm really enjoying being small time right now, but I'm really hoping to expand and grow.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, it sounds like a fantastic plan you've laid out.
Thank you.
And there's certainly plenty of those pirate themed bars and cafes and things like that would probably jump all over it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I just gotta have a more healthy repertoire and a bigger portfolio of I'm collecting the photos of all the people who have bought them and are flying them proudly. I have customers who've gone as far as the Pacific Islands, and they're flying their flags on old military forts. I've got one of my Kickstarter backers lives up in Norway in the fjords, and her ship, she's got a little sailboat called the Cafe, coffee in Norwegian, and she's flying, presumably she hasn't sent me pictures yet, but flying my flag on her schooner in the fjords.
Nice.
I'd love to see that. Actually, the lead singer of the Dread Crew of Oddwood did message me on Facebook saying, "Hey man, I saw your flag in the back of some guy's car." Like, really? Where? Long Beach?
Nice.
So
that's great.
They're everywhere. They're slowly kind of gaining momentum, and
that's super.
Thank you.
Super. Well, Xander, this has been super fun,
Great.
Man. I'm glad we got this all hooked up, and
definitely,
and I like doing these in person. This is way better than Skype.
Oh, sure.
But
Skype sucks.
This is cool. Is there anything I didn't ask you about that I forgot that you want people to know? Or
well, you can buy my flags at, again, blackbeardbanners.storenvy.com.
Cool.
If anybody has a custom order, I can definitely do it. Just go ahead and talk to me. Let's see here. Anything else? It's all made in house.
And that's not even a euphemism.
No,
it's
really
in-house.
It is. This is in my home. I sleep upstairs, and sometimes down here in the cold foyer. Trying to think. You can look for us for at any of the major kind of pirate fairs and Renaissance fairs here in California.
Great.
And we're hoping to expand westward or eastward, wherever direction the money is.
Yep. We'll
be there. Don't really think I got anything else. That's about it. That's what I got.
Cool. Well, I will make sure that the website is linked up in the show notes.
Perfect.
And all that kind of good stuff.
Excellent.
And we will send everybody over to buy flags.
Great.
So awesome. This was great.
Thank you, sir.
You betcha.
Really appreciate it.
And there it is, friends. That is my interview, my talk with Xander Kent from Blackbeard Banners. You can find out all about his stuff if you go to blackbeardbanners.storenvy.com. And of course, that link will be on the show notes at underthecrossbones.com/062. Under the Crossbones is sponsored by Pirate Radio The Treasure Coast. That's WKKC-DB, playing the best music in pirate talk radio. I'm going to guess the only pirate talk radio. But they're out there, and you can listen to it. Listen to the show on both stations. Just go to pirateradioofthetreasurecoast.com or pirateradiotc.com. And don't forget to download their apps, Pirate Radio Treasure Coast, which is the music station, and Pirate Radio Talk, which is the talk station. So you got the website, you've got the apps, all that kind of good stuff, and you can also hear all the episodes of Under the Crossbones on Pirate Radio The Treasure Coast. We got the new episode each week going up on the following Sunday after it comes out. You can check that out, and very soon we will have all the back episodes playing on the talk station, I believe. Right now there's about 10 of them because I'm still doing some editing. Yay me. I don't want you to get taken in by the bad pirates, my friends. You know what? You know what happened recently while I was on my trip? First show. I'm about to walk on stage, and I get a text message from LifeLock that my credit card charge had been disputed. Right? It's from my credit card and from LifeLock. Got both of them, and they said, oh, and I was like, oh, okay, well, just text back. I'm going to deal with this after the show. Here was the nice thing. I was about to walk on stage to do a half-hour set, and I did not have to worry about some Yahoo charging up my credit card because I knew my credit card company and LifeLock had my back. Yes. Turned out they were trying to buy a bunch of crap in San Diego, and then they decided that probably wasn't a charge that should happen. So I was not responsible for it, but that's what the kind of service that you can get when you have a LifeLock account, and it's very easy. They go out, they make sure that your information, your credit, it's all safe and in places, not in places where the bad guys can get it, okay? And it's very cheap. It's kind of the cost of doing business these days, less than $10. Just go to underthecrossbones.com/LifeLock, click the green Start Your Membership button, and you will get 10% off. It's just that easy. Yes, so do that. It's very helpful. They've helped me many, many times. And let's see, I got an ebook for you, Pirates of Panama, Buccaneers of America by Alexander Exquemelin. And if you haven't read it, it is a fascinating period-written book of actual experiences on pirate ships from the golden age of piracy, written by this guy who was a doctor and ended up doctoring on pirate ships. And he wrote this book. He has a terribly difficult to pronounce last name, Alexander Exquemelin. And but you can get the book for free. I've got it for you. Go to underthecrossbones.com, click on free ebook, and you can get it there. Or if you're out and about and all you got your phone and you don't want to mess around with going to websites, just text the word pirate and your email address to 94253. Text the word pirate and your email address to 94253. Okay, let's dig in. We got some comedy and music today, and there is all good stuff going on here. Today, for comedy, we have got Brandon Vestal, and Brandon is popping hard. He's been working a long time as a comedian, and he is really starting to make some great strides in the industry right now. Very, very funny dude. You can find him hopefully soon at brandonvestal.com, but he's still working on rebuilding his website. So if that's not working yet, you can go to facebook.com/brandon.vestal1. I guess, well, at least he was the one Vestal. And we're going to hear some music today. We're going to hear a song called Narrows by the band Verses, which is a band from here in the San Francisco Bay Area. And you can find them at Verses.com, Virsces, sort of a weird spelling, but that's what it is. All right, let's dig in. Comedy from Brandon Vestal and the song Narrows by Verses. Check it out.
Getting pretty tired of tequila companies trying to convince everybody that tequila is smooth now. Every commercial I see for tequila is telling me how smooth it is. It goes down smooth. It's so smooth. I heard that enough. I was like, sweet. They must have fixed it. So I tried some. Next time I was out, they haven't done anything to it. It's the same nasty water it's always been. I don't think they should legally be allowed to tell people that tequila is smooth. Tequila, in my opinion, is the least smooth drink that you can drink. That's why there's so many distractions when you drink tequila. You don't just take a drink of tequila like you do anything else on earth. You gotta do all this other stuff. You gotta lick this and suck that. What are you trying to hide, tequila? All the commercials are the same for the tequila. They got the cool actors at the beginning, and they drink tequila, and then smooth things happen to them throughout the rest of the commercial. They imply that smooth things happen after you drink tequila. Huh. Nothing smooth has ever happened after anyone has drank tequila. You ever been out drinking tequila one night and you wake up the next morning and you can't remember what happened? So you ask your friends what happened and they describe your behavior from the night before as smooth? It's never happened in the history of liquid. No one's ever said that. No one's ever like, dude, what happened after 10? I don't remember anything after 10. Like, oh, man. I didn't even know what... I've never seen you like that before. You were just so damn... smooth. You were so articulate. You were so respectful to all the young ladies. Then you peed in all the legal places. When by your 8th tequila shot, it was like George Clooney and Justin Timberlake had a baby. You're the tequila baby.
Begin to fall.
And that is our show for today, friends. Thank you for tuning in once again. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. Every Tuesday, why did I do that? Every Tuesday, new episodes will be out. Make sure that you're subscribed over on iTunes, and you get all the new episodes just plugged right into your phone without you even thinking about it. If you want to find out more about Blackbeard Banners and Xander Kent, go to blackbeardbanners.storeenvy.com. If you want to hear more from comedian Brandon Vestal, go to brandonvestal.com. And if that's not working yet, go to facebook.com/brandon.vestal1. And if you want to hear more from the band Verses, then go to verses.com. That's VIRSCES, verses.com. All right, kids, keep leaving those iTunes reviews. I dig them. I love them. Make sure that you got the free ebook that we're offering. Make sure you got all this stuff. If you're listening on Pirate Radio, The Treasure Coast, thank you very much for tuning in. And that's it. I'm going to see you next week. All right? Bye.